Interested in comic book conservation, please join us on Facebook at the Comic Book Conservation Community, where we have a gathering of experts in the industry, and you can ask all of your questions that you need to know about what you need to do to conserve and preserve these beautiful works of art. Please come join us every Sunday night at 8:35 Eastern Standard Time. You can find Dr. Paul from Liberty Hill Comics, Phantom Phil from Phantom Comic Studios, and myself, Captain Larry from Flying L Comics. We talk about everything comic conservation, so please feel free to ask any question you would like. You can find us at Liberty Hill Comics on YouTube and Flying L Comics on YouTube. A fan of the channel suggested a white background because the digital camera doesn't really pick up the contrast with the tanning of the book. So now we can get a better representation of what we're looking at here. So let's take a closer look at this cover and what we're going to do to it. I really like the shine here. It's definitely got some waves to it. Let's put that aside for right now. And let's take a look at these wraps. Now we've got this single staple issue. We are at the point where we're ready to start disassembly and doing the repairs on the wraps. Here's that weird different paper. Everything looks good here. It's a shame that we have that tear through the entire book. It really broke the spine, but we're going to fix that. All in all, this really doesn't look too horrible. The only thing that's really bad is that one center wrap right there, and we'll just set that aside for now. Looking at the staples, we're trying to get it down to the point where we can start working on that one single staple to get it removed. Okay, so we've got the single staple here. We're going to go ahead and take the spatula and just kind of gently work it underneath. We don't want to mar the staple at all. This little spatula tool is Teflon coated. My fingernail is not, but I'm just trying to lift it up enough that I can get the spatula under there. Now, you've seen me remove staples before. You know that the best way to do this is not bend it up to a 90-degree angle, more like a 70 to 80-degree angle. And we just pull out one leg, and then we rotate it 90 degrees, and then we push it on through. What we don't want to do is do more damage to this book by trying to pull it through or tear it out of the paper. It will just really shreds this paper pulp. So now that we have the staple out, we can more readily look at these wraps. And it's just so disappointing to see this big tear through the center section right at it basically tore right at the bottom part of the staple, the lower section right there. Boy, these things are just really, really brittle and tattered. I just got to be so careful taking these apart. So that's our center wrap right there. The one next to it is almost in as bad a shape. These two were sitting loose basically in a good portion of the life of this book. Okay, let's take a look at this cover again. So we'll start working on this next. I think we're ready to get everything wet, and we'll start getting these pieces folded back into position. Okay, we're in our wet cleaning tray, and I've got Polytex on the bottom. We're looking at this cover and where the folds are. And it's best to do it this, where we can see everything. The biggest concern here is it going to release ink from the cover, and these books are notorious for doing that. Here's our calcium hydroxide, and we do have some Triton X100 surfactant mixed in it. That's why you see those bubbles there. We'll just gently smooth this around. Now, I like to have my two pieces of Ahoy-Tex. That way we can flip this, basically everything, our working wrap upside down and twist it around, and it's still safe. It's not going to tear. We'll just fold this back right here. Now we're going to gently take our spatula. We don't want to fold anything back into place really until it's wet and absorbed enough water. That way we don't break the piece off. Everything in here looks like a really good clean break. So I'm happy about that. Let's cover this back up and move to a different part. So we'll flip this back over. I think there's another piece right here at the bottom that right where the spine is, it is a little bit crunched or folded over. We'll see if we can position that. The other thing is when you have a book that's wrinkled or bent, or as long as it's not breaking color, getting it wet like this, it's going to pull the wrinkle literally right out of the book. Okay, I've got this little piece right here. Gently getting it folded back in. It looks pretty good. A little bit of a space there, but that's okay. The one thing I've noticed, we're really not losing any color, so I'm very, very happy about that. So what we're going to do right now is just agitate it a little bit. Now I want you to notice how I'm holding this. Now this is, in all sense, this is a serving tray from Walmart that I paid $12 for. I put tape over the handle holes, and this works perfect. There's no ridges. Now, I know a lot of you, when you're doing the wet cleaning, you have a photo cleaning tray that has a big ridge in it. And I don't know if that is what causes some ink loss, but with this, when you're holding it the way I do with my thumbs, when I'm rolling around and agitating it, the only thing that's moving is just this liquid. It's not the wrap itself is not sliding around inside the tray. And I just press my thumbs there, and the fluid basically rolls over the top of it and underneath the bottom of it. All I'm doing here is really trying to pull the acids out of the paper. It's not really losing any of these stains at the top. I am using a very gentle surfactant, so I don't want to do anything harsh with a book like this. I was so fearful of the ink coming out, so I scaled back how much soap or surfactant was used in the solution. But, it's still pulling the acids out, as you can see. There's a little bit of light tanning in there. But all in all, I really like how this is working out. Okay, so let's pour this off now. I didn't see any ink loss, but definitely we have some acids in the paper. Now this is just the first of 3 washes, and I'm not going to bother showing you the other 2, but they'll be very similar to what we just did. Just no surfactant, just calcium hydroxide only. Let's take a quick look at this center wrap again. It's just really so brittle and tattered. So we're going to have to be very careful with this. These edges are just so delicate. This missing corner here. So let's get it wet and see if we can fold things over in their proper place. So again, we got our wrap in the tray with our piece of Hollytex underneath. We never want to forget that. Lay another piece of Hollytex over the top here. Now, this one I'm just going to be very delicate with. Same solution we just used. So we just want to get it all flattened out. So we're going to carefully pull this back, and we'll use our spatula now that the wrap is absorbed the moisture. And we just very, very carefully fold these edges over. Now we have these missing chunks out of here. We're just going to have to leaf cast those in when we do the corner up here. But this one particular page, being it was loose for so long and really exposed to the air, it's become so brittle. So pulling the acids out of this paper will make it a little bit more malleable, but we still have to be extremely careful with it. Okay, let's pour this off. It's looking really good. A little bit of tan there. So I'm content that the acids are out of this wrap. See, it's got a little bit of tan here. Not too bad. I've seen a lot worse before. So we're done with the washing of the book and the wraps. So let's take another look. So we're at the point where we want to start doing the paper repairs. So let's take a look at the cover first. Cover came out nicely. It still holds a lot of the shine. I still have that nice creamy tan that we want to keep. this area in here. This was folded over. It's showing really light, and that's because it spent basically a good portion of its life with this piece folded over here. Looking at the cover on the outside, like I said, it's been washed. The purples came out great. I'm really happy with the look of everything. We just have to do some tear seals here. We'll do that from the inside. So let's scoot this off to the side here. And we'll take a look at the wraps. I mean, the wraps look great. They've got a nice creaminess to them. I really like the colors. Everything propped really well. We do have those oddball pages in here that were basically a different paper when the pressman put it in. But all in all, it's still all the same. So we do have this broken spot throughout the book, right at the staple mark. It's right at the base of the staple. It runs across from here all the way over, so it's a significant break. So we'll go ahead and do repairs on this. Most likely, the bulk of the repairs are going to be with Japanese paper, but I wanted to get to this interior where we have a big broad span. I'm going to hold this up. I'm not going to move the camera because we're on the upstairs camera, but we have a significant tear here. I'm going to put the spatula in here. It runs from here all the way across over to here. So it's significant. And this is the staple hole right here. So this will have to be reinforced. I thought about doing some leaf casting on it, but the break is too fine, so I think we're just going to repair that with Japanese paper and some methyl cellulose. Okay, so on to the worst wrap of them all, which is the actual center wrap. Now this one, looking at this, it's got some significant paper damage. We're looking at a complete missing corner here. The edges are basically tattered. We've got a tear right up through here. Rounded corners. Splits, another severely rounded corner. And the bulk of the pages don't have this rounded corners, so this is kind of an exception. This one spent its life detached, and so it just got, trashed pretty much. So it's, like I said, all the wraps have been completely deacidified or neutralized, as the chemists like to say. So looking at this, I think I'm actually going to try to do this. We'll replace this edge here. I think we're going to do some leaf casting on the vacuum table. So I think that's the safest thing to do. So anyway, we're at the repair stage. So bear with me, and we'll go through this together. Okay, so we've got our center wrap in the tray here. So what we're going to do prior to doing our leaf cast to get everything ready. So I have fresh pulp in the syringe here. Now what I'm going to do is fill in this corner. We got a split here, gaps here, rounded corner, rounded corner. We got some rough edges along here. So we're going to do a full number on it, and I'm also going to try and put some pulp in here, and we'll compress it and see how well it holds. Being this is a center wrap, it's one that determines the strength of the book. This is the one that this staple will basically try to pull through. So the first thing we're going to do, I've got it sitting here on the tray. We've got another piece of Polytex to go over the top, and let's get it wet. So this is just water. So like I said, all we want to do is get the wrap wet because we have to prepare it to accept the leaf cast. So once I'm satisfied that this is wet thoroughly, then we'll lift it out of the tray, and then we'll migrate it over to the leaf casting table.
It runs on a powerful vacuum, which makes a lot of noise. So I'll silence the video and give you some nice Benny Hill music to listen to. Okay, so we've migrated this over to the vacuum table. Let me center this up and we'll turn this on, and then we'll start with the filling of the leaf cast. Okay, so I pulled this off the press. The leaf cast is done. So we're going to go ahead and release the holly text, and we'll check the quality of the leaf cast here. Now, if done right, this should release fairly well. Not really happy with the color. This is a pulp I had set aside for the Superman comic book we've been working on. But overall, it looks okay. You know, that's one thing about leaf casting is if things aren't right, you just remove it. Now we're working on the back side here. And, you know, one thing, just a reminder about leaf casting, we're not looking for color match. Leaf casting is about the structural integrity of the book. So we'll go ahead and pull up this rest of the way off here. Okay. Set that off to the side. Now we'll take a quick look at this before anything else. Now, what I wanted to look at was in here. I did put some leaf cast down in the center section. I may do it again, but from the back side here, just to reinforce it. And looking at it, we got this big spot, and this will clean up. It is a little bit lumpy, which I was concerned with. I'm using a long form cast, and when I say long form, the fibers are long. It's more of a stronger leaf cast. Like I said, it was for a lighter colored interior for the Superman number 8 that we've been working on. So I'll go ahead and trim this up, and we'll take a better look at it after I've cleaned it. So I trimmed off all the excess and cleaned it up from the back side here. You can see that this is what it looks like. You know, it's perfectly smooth. You can't feel anything if you close your eyes. Everything's fine. Structurally, it's back together. It's fine. Let's go back here for a second. I did do this interior piece with the staples, or I built this up and got that, you know, down smooth. Looks pretty good. And also from the back side. So we did some double-sided leaf casting in this section, and I've elected that I don't particularly care for how the structures come out. I still have this tear right here that didn't get filled properly. It runs up to about here. I've got several tears that running into the interiors that didn't get done. So what I'm going to do here in this particular case is we're going to do another casting on it. So it's been treated down, And we're going to cast from this side now. Since we already did that, that'll give more strength to this corner and this corner and this corner, which are all new, so they match the rest of it. And then we'll fill in these and run a bead across here. I think this is fine. The interior piece where the staple is going to be piercing, I think that looks just fine. So that's where we're at right now. So we'll go back to leaf casting, and once I get that done, I'll be back here with you.
If you liked today's video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. That way you can get a notification when I have a new video coming out or a follow-up to this one.